Believe it or not, that watch right there is the reason why I got my first job with Lacoste. You'd be surprised by how watches can change your life actually. It's a long story. Obviously in the next video, I'll talk about my watch collection and one of my favorite watches, but in no shape or form is this a flex or a video about me flexing how many watches I got or anything like that. If anything, it's about how something like a watch, especially if you're a man, can put you in certain scenarios which you'd never imagine and can be a crazy conversation starter in your daily life, which will give you opportunity to network with people you'd have never imagined you could network with. For example, where do I start? It is a story time. So for all my life, I've been working in customer service, specifically fashion, as an associate for a lot of brands. I first came to Canada in 2022, I think. So I stayed in Ottawa, and then I worked at Nordstrom. That was one of the leading luxury retail stores in Canada, but it's an American-based company, so it got liquidated and pulled out of Canada. That resulted to me being unemployed for a minute, and then I went to Hall Renfrew in Toronto. That is another luxury retail store in Canada. This Casio did not give me that job at Hall Renfrew. For that one, I actually had to stand in line. There were a lot of, definitely over 100 people, but I had a feeling that I was gonna get the job. But only because I got it, but I did feel like I was gonna get it though. I'm not gonna lie. That was not the job which this Casio got me. It's still in the backstory for how I actually got to work with Lacoste because of this watch. So I worked there, it was a seasonal one. It was a seasonal job which I got offered two opportunities. Either it's full-time, but with the full-time, the pressure will be off the bat and I'd have to hit my sales targets from the jump. And me moving to a new city, the manager was like, I can offer you a long contract or a seasonal one with less pressure, you ease into the environment, and then most likely we'll extend your contract to full-time. That was towards the end of the year, Q4. I worked, everything was pretty good. The people I worked with loved me. It was an amazing time, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I'd end up staying there for longer, but everything happens for a reason. It didn't pan out that way. But that store had so many cool stuff, but I've always told the associates I was working with, and I was pretty open to them, that they had like Tiffany. Hall Renfrew has different boutiques inside the whole umbrella of Hall Renfrew, including Tiffany and Co. And then we also have a section for watches and all that. So this collaboration, specifically the Tiffany Blue Casio, popped up, and I was like, oh my God, I really would love that watch, guys. If any one of you guys want to get me a gift and you get me this watch, I'd be so happy. And then I didn't think they heard what I was saying. I was just always playing around. Why did I not buy it? I was just like, nah. It's just some of those things, when it's close to you, you feel like you'll buy it anytime. But I was just like, no, I don't know, man. I'll get it. But I was still focused on, when you go to work, the last thing on your mind is certain things. So obviously you focus on clienteling and selling and all of that. But towards the end of the contract, the manager was like, yeah, unfortunately, Yannick, there's no space. So we'd have to let you go for a few months, but most likely in Q2, when opportunities open, we'll bring you back. And the whole team was bummed that I was leaving, to the point where my friend, an Asian friend, Huang, I was like, I miss that guy, man, in Toronto. Shout out to Huang in Toronto. I was like, yo, Yannick, I know you're leaving, but you'll be missed. Thank you for helping us so much. Here you go, here's a gift. And I was like, what? That's crazy. You giving me this watch here? And since then, obviously now it's a little bit shaky, but this thing was shining. It was like, wow. It felt like my first major luxury watch, but obviously Casio is not in that bracket, but it's an entry-level watch, which is respected by all the ranges of watches. And then so after that happened, bro, staying in Toronto for over 3 months without a job, it's like living in New York for 3 months without a job. Something had to give. I moved back to Ottawa. I got a job opportunity as a door-to-door guy for Bell. Bro, door-to-door guy for Bell. You know Bell? You know what does door-to-door mean? If you don't know what that means, please look it up. You literally go knock on doors. You don't know who's going to open the door, and then sell them basically internet. I still have the uniform for Bell. And obviously when you knock on somebody's door, automatically they're going to be defensive and be like, hey, what do you want here, man? Get out, kick rocks. You open the door, they're like, hey, kick rocks. And then, bro, this is in Canada, bro. It's snowing. So at the time, I was still so I was following the big guy, the main guy who's done it for a couple of years. We're knocking on doors and the weather was shaky. I was like, yo, Yannick, let's run to the nearest filling station. This is crazy. We're gonna die out here. I was like, what? You're the veteran, bro. If you're gonna die, what more me? So yeah, how crazy it was. I'll get to the part about. I'm sorry. I know. I'll get to that part. I'm just giving you the backstory of, and then after that, I was like, the other day, I was like, you know what? I don't think I can do door to door for so long. Obviously, I try to have the confidence and charisma, but if the weather is totally against you, even to smile and be charming and all of that is gonna be super hard. And you have to have that regardless of how many rejections you face every time. So I was like, okay, let me just wear nicely, go to the mall, drop my resumes everywhere, right? So went to a lot of stores. Hey guys, are you hiring? Obviously 90% of them are like not hiring, all of that. And then I went to different stores and kept on dropping my resume. And then I went to Lacoste. I was wearing this watch. Obviously I had, you know when you're going to knock on doors, bro, you gotta wear everything nice. You gotta put everything, all your lucky charms. So I was just like, I think Lacoste is cool. I have worked in that mall, like I said, not sure before moving to Toronto, but I came back. I was like, yeah, let me go check them out. So I came in with this guy over here. I met, I think it was two guys who are now close friends, and then one girl who had since left. And then I was like, hey guys, are you hiring by any chance? Yada yada yada. And they were like, no, but as always, and like I always tell whoever's dropping their resume, no, but you never know what could happen, so leave your resume. So I was like, that's what they said. I dropped my resume and I was like, by the way, that's a nice watch. What's the story oh, that's a nice watch. What's the story behind it? Let me actually put it on. Sorry, guys. I was like, yeah, watch over here. I actually gave it to him. I was like, this is a Tiffany blue Casio. I worked at Hot Rent Fuel, and then I had to leave. They gave me this as a gift. But yeah, basically the story. And they're like, oh, you work there. Actually a very nice watch. Doug, obviously he loves watches. And when it comes to, I think you should actually work, Doug, I think you should work in a jewelry store where you sell crazy watches there. But yeah, he's like, yeah, I love your watch, all of that. And I don't know what perception, I don't know what happened, but yeah, that long story cut short, a few weeks later when I was still knocking on doors, door to door, we're talking to this old man, and then me and my partner, like trying to sell him internet. Then I got a call from Lacoste, a random call, and I was like, let me step outside, screw this job anyway. And then it was Lacoste, the manager, called me and say, hey Yannick, we saw your resume, would you like to walk in and have basically an interview? Yeah, bro. And the thing is, the watch, obviously, imagine how many people drop their resumes. I think, and he always used to tell me, the Tiffany blue Casio is the reason you stood out. And obviously, aside from me knowing the brand and having the experience to do the job, but there are just certain things which will get you over the line, which not many people will have, but you will have it, and it will just like set you apart and then get you at the front of the door. So yes, an example, a watch. I think it's very important for you as a man or as a person to have a watch, because a lot of people are obviously caught up in having phones, and I think a watch it symbolizes more than just you telling the time. I think your watch can also, in a way, set a symbol which will get you in the door of certain places. A watch can be the reason why tell people the kind of person you are. That's why certain people buy $100,000 watches, not because they want to see the time. It's kind of like a status symbol which will get you in the door of certain places. A watch can be the reason why an associate will take you seriously to offer you something which other random people may not have access to. It is important for you, gents, ladies out there, to get something nice, a solid watch. There are entry level of watches out there. You could always do, because Casio has many ranges of watches, right? Let me see which one. This one, obviously. This watch here, you see this watch? This is actually the watch I wear every day, guys. Sorry. This is the watch I actually wear every day. This is a Illuminator Casio. It's like $25, right? It's a simple watch, plastic Casio, very respectable brand. In no way, shape, or form is this a Casio sponsorship video, because both of these watches are Casio. But I tell you, it's just important for you to have a watch, because it's not every time you're gonna have your phone. It's function regardless. Like it's not every time you have a phone. It's good to keep track. And actually, all my watches are 5 minutes ahead of time, so it lets me get to places earlier as well. That's a trick I always use. So it's very important for you to have a watch because it will get you indoors, which you may not know. And it's just like, it's always a conversation starter because we're working with Lacoste. Sometimes we're trying to connect with clients, and then we notice they have a very nice watch, and then we'll ask them, hey, that watch looks incredible on you. What's the story behind it? We want to be like you one day. Inspire us. How do you get to a place where you can afford this watch? And it also gives people confidence. For example, me, when the guy who got my resume too was like, hey, I love your watch, where did you get it? It also confidence to be like, oh, actually, I think I got it on, bro. This watch is actually making sense. This watch is talking. Yeah, I think it's important for guys to have a watch. Long story cut short, that's the reason why I will get to work with Lacoste. And you guys were asking me questions, and other video which is doing pretty good about the 3 types of polos. How do you get the chance to work with Lacoste because you have so many Lacoste stuff? That is how I got the chance to work with Lacoste, to answer that question. All right. Otherwise, guys, that is the end of the story time. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts on this conversation. Do you have a watch? If not, get a watch, or I'll try and get you one. Otherwise, it's your boy Yannick. Love and peace. Please don't forget to subscribe if you got to this far. Hey man, I know it's man, it's tricky getting up there with the subs, but I appreciate you guys for getting here this far. If it's you, whoever you are, thank you for getting to this far of the video. I love you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Love and peace. It's your boy Yannick.